Thank you all for coming to the groundbreaking of the General District Court, which is phase 1 of the larger courts expansion and renovation project, right here in Court Square. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the elected officials we have with us here today. We have Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Donna Price, who I've over here. We've got Mayor Snook for the City of Charlottesville, Vice Chair Jim Andrews, Supervisor Ned Galloway, Supervisor Ann Malik, and Supervisor Diantha McKeel with the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, Vice Mayor Juan Diego Wade with the City of Charlottesville, Councilors Brian Pinkston and Leah Purrier with the City of Charlottesville. We also have our Sheriff for the city, James Brown, and Chan Bryant for the county. Thank you for being here. And on behalf of some of the judges, we have Clerk Leola Morse on behalf of Judge Katara and Clerk Mary Trimble on behalf of Judge Schneethern. Thank you for being here. It's wonderful to be celebrating this groundbreaking project, which is 23 years in the making. I'm now going to invite Deputy County Executive Trevor Henry to share a little bit more about this project.
Thanks, Emily. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here with you today. I believe I've been asked to speak because I'm the longest tenured county staff that has been deeply involved with this project. My personal work on the project started in 2010 to evaluate a myriad of potential options that involved countless staff meetings, multiple Board of Supervisor meetings, and a lot of engagement with stakeholders. I'm going to go off script for a minute. I want to acknowledge Lance Stewart, who is Albemarle County's Director of Facilities and Environmental Services Department. Lance reminded me that when he was with the city, he started on this project in 2001. So Lance probably gets the credit for being most tenured on this project. Thank you, Lance. The origins of this work today date back to 2001 and a jointly funded study by the city and the county to envision the future of courts. That work eventually led to the acquisition of the property that we're standing on by the city and county in 2005. I'd estimate at least 35 staff have been involved in getting us to today just since the accord agreement was signed a few years back. I am very proud of the work by staff and by our Board of Supervisors to stay the course on this important work and to allow it to move forward. This project, as Ms. Kilroy mentioned, is a two-phase project. This is phase 1. To expand and renovate Albemarle County and the Charlottesville City Courts at Court Square. First phase is to create a new courts building right here at the historic Levy Opera House site. That's the Levy Opera House, and it will involve at first the demolition of the non-historic 1980s edition that's behind you. Once that is demolished, then a construction will occur. 58,000 square feet comprising of courtrooms, hearing rooms, clerk of the court offices for the city and the county. Budget for this initial phase is $36.8 million. The new building will also include secured parking and a sally port for prisoner transport. Just a couple more minutes here. I'd like to thank the team of support that has made this project possible. Grunley Construction, Fentress Architects, DGP Architects, Rivanna Archaeological Services, for performing the archaeological study, MBP, staff support, Walter Wally Harris, Tyler Gifford, Lisa Glass, Lance Stewart, Bill Strother, Michael Dellinger, Andy Herrick, Abby Stumpf, Blake Applenaup from the county, Crystal Rittervold, Scott Hendricks, Michael Goddard, Stacy Smalls with the City of Charlottesville. I'd like to give a personal thanks to Blake Applenaup. Blake, raise your hand. Blake has been just steadfast and has provided incredible leadership on this work to get us to where we are today. Without his personal involvement and leadership, we wouldn't be here where we are. I now have the honor and the privilege to welcome Donna Price, Chair of the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, to the lectern.
Thank you, Trevor, and good morning, everyone. We stand on land resplendent with the history of America. From colonial times to the present, knowledge of this space is central to understanding this city and this county. The first courthouse in Charlottesville, a wooden structure, was built in 1749. In 1762, coincident with its founding by an act of the Assembly as the county seat, centrally located in the now newly revised, spelled reduced, acreage of Albemarle County, a new brick courthouse was also built that year in this space, which we know today as Courthouse Square property. We are here this morning in Courthouse Square, and this site's utilization over time reflects a story of repurposing essential to both understanding and maintaining our local history and heritage. Standing on this space between Swan Tavern, where is the original town battery or commons, a park space for men, this building was designed in 1851 as a town hall, constructed in 1852 in the Greek Revival style, having seating for 600 people. In 1887, this building was purchased by Jefferson Monroe Levy, the nephew of Commodore Uriah P. Levy, and he was the second savior of Monticello after his uncle, who was the first. Jefferson Levy remodeled the town hall building into an opera house seating 800 people. It continued with that usage until closing in 1912 when it was occupied by the Jefferson School for Boys. Thereafter, it was vacant for many years and came close to being torn down to make way for a service station. Thanks to the generosity of leading citizens, in 1972, the Perry Foundation bought the structure to prevent its destruction. Several different owners and uses followed until purchased by the city and the county in 2002, and since that time it has been used as a court building. While the historic Levy Opera House and its name will remain, this lot, where we break ground today, will be transformed into our new General District Court for the City of Charlottesville and the County of Albemarle. As a lawyer and former prosecutor, defense counsel, and trial judge, the actions upon which we are physically commencing today have great significance to me. But this General District Court project should have similar significance for everyone because it will create a court experience that is safe, secure, and accessible for all courts users, prosecutors, defense counsel, defendants, witnesses, bailiffs, law enforcement, spectators, and judges. This new building will have modern information technology infrastructure that allows us to leverage the best technology to support the court's operations and ultimately fulfill the mission of the courts, which is the fair administration of justice. I want to thank the City of Charlottesville for their partnership in our collectively bringing this project groundbreaking today, and I look forward to celebrating a ribbon cutting in 2025. I am now pleased to invite Lloyd Snook, an attorney in local practice and mayor of the city of Charlottesville, to share his thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to point out that this is actually, Trevor mentioned 2001. My involvement with this project goes back into the 1990s because back then was when we first started to talk about a new district court and first started to talk about co-locating the General District Court for the City of Charlottesville with the General District Court for the County of Albemarle. And among the people that I'd like to give a shout out to in this respect, one of the folks who probably very few of you all are thinking about as being relevant to today is Jim Cambloss. Jim was the prosecutor in Albemarle back at that time, and he was absolutely insistent that there be no moving of the courts off of Court Square. And that was a position to take at a very early time that really set the stage for all of the discussions we've had ever since. I served as president of the Charlottesville-Albemarle Bar Association about 10 years ago, and my main task then was to try to get the city and the county on the job to do this court relocation and co-location, and I didn't get it done 10 years ago. It didn't get done until really an agreement was put together about 5 or 6 years ago. But that agreement still had some problems with it because when we actually tried to implement it, One of the pieces of it was that there had to be a provision of a certain number of parking spaces. Well, the agreement talked about a certain number of parking spaces, either a new parking garage or in the current parking garage. And when we tried to actually implement it, we suddenly realized we can't actually do it the way the agreement talked about if we're doing it in the current parking garage. And so it took some further negotiation and some further give and take and some further understanding of the importance of the project and how we're not going to let something like that derail this project, that we were able to get an agreement between the city and the county to get past these last few details and to bring this project to the point where it's actually going to get done. Now, among the other people who ought to be thanked in this respect are some other folks going back a number of years. For example, Judge Barkley and Judge Downer, both of whom have now retired, both of whom had said years ago, this is important. It's important to us even though we will never sit in this courthouse, at least not as a full-time judge. They may come back as a substitute judge from time to time, but they said, even though it's not going to be our court, it's important that we do it. And it finally got done, and they helped push it through. So this is a good example, I believe, of the kind of city and county cooperation at the court level that we see every day, at the governmental level that we're seeing more and more, but frankly over the years has sometimes been a problem. But this is the kind of thing that we need to keep working on. I'm so glad we're finally getting to this day, and I'm looking forward to picking up one of those pretty gold shovels and overturning a pile of dirt. Thank you all for coming.
Hi, I'm Jeff Richardson, and I'm the County Executive for Albemarle County Government. And in just a second, I'm going to invite the City of Charlottesville City Council and the Board of Supervisors from Albemarle County Government to come up front and to take those gold shovels and to move some dirt. Before I do that, I'll just make a couple of quick closing comments. As I was listening to all the speakers, I was trying to think back. When did I first know about this project? And I'm going to vaguely remember that in the 4th grade at Black Mountain Elementary School on Government Day in Black Mountain, North Carolina, somebody may have mentioned that the city and the county was talking about a joint courts project. In all seriousness, projects that require collaboration, where you as a single government entity, you do not have sole control over getting it done, those collaborative projects they're arduous, and they require everyone to practice give and take. You're not going to get everything you want. It's not going to be perfect. But since I've been with Albemarle County Government, Mr. Michael Rogers most recently has set a tone of collaboration with he and his team. The folks from the city staff approach us, and they approach us with an open-mindedness, a collaborative spirit, and a collaborative intention. I don't believe that citizens wake up, our community members wake up every day and think about their government unless they've got something serious they need to deal with. But I do believe in general that our community and our citizens expect us to get things done and to try to work together. As the mayor said, I think this is a perfect example of the city and the county working together. I would like to thank our staff, the county staff. I would like to thank Mr. Rogers and his city staff, the retired employees who are no longer here, the folks who have gone and left and done other things. And I would take one point of professional privilege to recognize Mr. Greg Kampner, the retired county attorney for Albemarle County Government, because I think Greg at the staff level set an unbelievable example of collaboration and working together. I'm very proud of our elected officials, the Board of Supervisors. They expect us to get things done, and they expect us to do it in a teamwork atmosphere, and they set the tone at the top. So with that, thank you so much for being here today, and at this time, I'd like to invite the City Council and the Board of Supervisors to come up front in order to grab those gold shovels. Thank you very much for being here today.